All right then, Brentford 3, Liverpool 2. Another loss for Liverpool, 4 losses in a row now. Things starting to look a little bit bleak at the minute in terms of form. Losing another game by just 1 goal as well. Everyone in the media talking about how Slot's whinging a little bit about some of the results, when really I think he's just analysing. When he talks about the set pieces and he's going, oh, well, if you concede from a set piece and you don't score from one, it's hard to win football matches. And I think you could probably agree with that when you think we've lost those last 4 games in the Premier League all by 1 goal. You think if we could just score another goal from a set piece, a lot of the results could be quite different. Maybe if we didn't concede from one as well, we could have won the game. But obviously, as always, some pretty controversial decisions in the game, and also picking up a few injuries, which is absolutely not what I want to be seeing. How many injuries have we got now? We've got Isak, Frimpong, Curtis Jones. We've obviously got Konate, in my opinion, doesn't look fully fit at all. Who else have we got? I know that there's some other people as well that I can't think of off the top of my head. Leone's injured. Apparently Bradley's got a bit of a potential injury. Gravenberch is injured. So lots and lots of things that are going wrong for Liverpool at the minute. It seems like the injuries are stacking up, which is what I said last season was one of the reasons that we won the title, was because we kept so many players fit for so many games. This season, it doesn't look like that's the case. We brought in a few new players and they're getting injured quite consistently at the minute. Frimpong's already had 2 injuries. Isak's never been fully fit and now he's got injured again. So obviously this Brentford game, they definitely did a number on us, just like everyone else has this season with the long ball tactics. They worked really, really well. And I was actually talking to my dad about this last season when I was saying the Premier League looks great. There's lots of mid-table teams that look like they're competing really well. And it was because everyone started to play this direct brand of football. And it's been happening again this year, but even more so, I would say. Pretty much everyone's playing long ball football, apart from Guardiola these days. Arsenal obviously playing a bit of a hybrid, strange brand of football, which I still don't really understand. Liverpool obviously trying to play a bit of a controlling type of football as well. But overall, lots and lots of these smaller, although they are still Premier League teams and deserve respect, have done really, really well off of these tactics. These long balls into fast wingers, playing the ball up to big strikers and then laying the ball off. Or, like Man United did a number on us, just playing 3 number 10s as your front 3 and then having Bruno Fernandes in behind and then just letting Van Dijk head the ball to them over and over again. Worked a lot, didn't it? And it is an interesting tactic. Slot clearly hasn't found out how to deal with it yet. Obviously, we've played quite a few away games in a row. So very, very difficult when you play a lot of away games in a row to get some kind of semblance of control. Sometimes you just get carried away in the games. I think that's happened quite a lot recently, and that's something else that Slot mentioned. But I think overall the performances from Liverpool, obviously not good enough. Still lacking cohesion. We've got big players going missing for the whole game. I know that Salah scored a goal, but really it was out of completely nothing. Never really looked like he was going to contribute a goal or an assist every time the ball came to him. He just ended up passing it back. I think he had about 10 or 15 touches over the course of the game, and pretty much all of them were just a pass back to Bradley after he received the ball. Not really playing any early balls in for Ekitike. We're still lacking that cohesion. We're still lacking those link-ups that we're so used to seeing from last season, where the players look really, really free but at the same time fluid, knowing what they were doing, know the kinds of positions that they should have been in. And this year, just none of that really. We've obviously got new players coming in, a lot of them looking quite unsettled or frantic. Kerkez still looking very frantic. Interestingly enough, Kerkez, I think, being very, very limited in his ability to get forward, which I think is probably his best attribute from left back. For Hungary, he looks really, really, really menacing and good down that side, making loads of great crosses into the box for the forwards. He did a little bit more of that yesterday against Brentford, but funnily enough, the one time where I think he just went, fuck it, I'm just going to go up the pitch, he actually scored his goal, which I thought was interesting. I think he's getting quite frustrated with the link up with Gakpo and him. I don't think they've got any kind of cohesion really in terms of being a threat down that side either. Gakpo is a very, very hard watch at the minute as well. I know that in terms of raw numbers, he creates chances, but really he's just pretty much every single time getting the ball, coming inside and then not really doing anything with it. Whereas last season, when he had that good vein of form over Christmas, he was cutting inside and scoring goals pretty much every time. He's not really getting into those areas that you want to see him for scoring goals. And we are playing against a lot of teams that are, they're obviously just playing a very low block and then playing long balls or counter-attack football, which works extremely well against us at the minute because we look very, very open, especially at the back. I think Konate cost us for at least a goal yesterday, maybe 2 of the goals. At the very least, letting the striker or the winger, as it was in that situation, run off the back of you when you're in your own half and not dropping off when Van Dijk is clearly 2 or 3 yards deeper than you. He's looking at Van Dijk and then he's just let the winger run off the back of him for an easy finish. In my opinion, those are the kinds of situations where Alisson may pull out a save as well. So we've been very spoiled with Alisson as well in that regard. But overall, a lot of situations that I thought we could have done better with. Obviously, the long throw that resulted in a goal, you could have argued that maybe Kerkez was at fault from that. But I think the long throws, they're always just a very, very 50-50 chaotic mixer, aren't they? I don't think you can specifically blame players for that. And I think we dealt with most of them really well. It was just that first one where they got a fortunate flick on of the ball and then obviously the striker, easy finish for them in the end. Overall, Liverpool, I think obviously when you're so frail at the back, you need to be scoring chances at the other end. And I definitely think we had 3, 4, 5 potential chances where we could have scored goals. And again, losing by that 1 goal for the 4th time in a row in the Premier League. What was it? It was 2-1. Was it 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 3-2, was it? So it's very, very tough to take. When you think we did have chances. It's not like we didn't create chances, but I think Wirtz had that one where it's on the half volley from about 10 yards out, misses the target. Obviously, there was a few times when the ball was bouncing around the box and we couldn't get it in the back of the net. We didn't score from any set pieces this time around. I thought against Frankfurt, those 2 goals we scored from corners really, really helped to settle the team down. And like Slot said, when you're struggling to score against teams from a low block, set pieces are going to be really critical and very crucial. And then obviously, I think we have to talk about that ridiculous penalty that they gave against Van Dijk. I mean, I don't think there's any people out there that really honestly think that that was a penalty. And funnily enough, if you actually look from the camera angle where it's a straight line down the pitch and you can see the straight line of the penalty area, the contact is actually outside the box. But for some reason, the VAR decided to review it for like 5 minutes and then give a penalty for it. When in reality, I don't think anyone actually even appealed for it. Very, very strange times. I think Liverpool, again, when things aren't running, when you aren't getting the run of the ball, the run of the green, when you just aren't getting things going your way, those kinds of things can go against you. I think there was another one in one of the other matches. The Galatasaray game, that was just clearly not a penalty for me either. And I think we've had quite a few bad decisions against us. The Man United game was the one I was thinking of. There was a bad decision in that as well, although I can't think of it off the top of my head. Was that a penalty as well? Or was it some kind of dodgy free kick that they scored from? In either case, obviously Liverpool have got problems at the minute, and I think they're getting quite unlucky. The cohesion of the team doesn't look there. We don't look defensively sound. We don't look offensively dangerous. And we don't look solid in the midfield either. It just seems like all of it's wrong. So you've got to just, I think, go back to the drawing board for Slot and just go, well, initially I think we just need to get that defensive solidity and rigidity back at the very least. And that probably means, playing the kinds of profiles that are going to be able to sit in those areas and actually help the defence out. Because the amount of times where long balls go up to our centre-backs, they win the headers, but then their midfield will win the ball and then they're running in on the centre-backs, running in on the back 4. And when your back 4 is not looking settled and cohesive, it just looks like they're going to get chances every time. A lot of the time it looks like Van Dijk's defending back there on his own. Sometimes Konate's jumping out and not getting back into position. It just looks like there's a lot of problems for Liverpool at the minute. And in my opinion, we've got fantastic players, but we're looking like a little bit of a team of superstars at the minute and not really a cohesive team. There are some honourable mentions in the team there that I would like to give a shout out to. Szoboszlai, I think he's been our best player this season. He looks like one of the only ones that's capable of running and basically trying to drag us out of the slump that we're in. I always say that when you're in a bad vein of form, the only way that you can get out of it and the only way you can combat it is by putting in even more effort. And it looks like the Liverpool players aren't really doing that at the minute. They look a yard shorter than they did last season for me. They look all out of position. They look really open, easy to play against. The press just looks like it breaks down after one person. It's really, really weird. You'll see like Salah or Ekitike press the the back four of the other team, and they'll just play out in one pass, and then the press will be broken, and they'll have about 30 yards of space to play through. They'll be playing like diagonal balls into the winger, or they'll just be playing a nice pass into their forward who lays it off, and then every single action by the opposing team just looks too easy against Liverpool at the minute. And it's definitely a bit of a concern. Obviously, the amount of fans online at the minute that are screaming Klopp out and not Klopp out, I should say, Slot out, and also people calling for Klopp to return. I've already seen some of the so-called online journalists saying that Klopp would be open to returning as the manager. I think it's just ridiculous, to be honest, when you look at what Slot did last season, and we played with such authority, and we really did dominate the league in many ways. To basically throw him under the bus after a series of poor results, that in reality, we only lost all those games by 1 goal. If you think 2 or 3 of those games could have easily been a draw if we didn't have some dodgy decision go against us, or maybe some unusual situation didn't happen. If we got 3 draws and 1 loss, I don't think everyone would be calling for Slot out. It's just, for me, it doesn't make any sense. I think you've got to give him time with the players that he's bought to get what he wants to happen. And I think that he will. I think he'll come good. But right now, things not looking good for Liverpool. We've got the Crystal Palace on Wednesday in the Carabao Cup, which is going to be an interesting one. Crystal Palace, another team which loves a goal against Liverpool. And if we can't figure out this situation that we're in terms of these long balls, these set pieces, just these getting bullied in the defensive areas, especially that defensive midfield area. McAllister last season was everywhere, and at the minute he looks nowhere. Gravenberch is a big miss because he does have that ability to be a good bruiser in those areas. I mean, we could play Endo as one of those double pivots because he will just sit in there and actually defend, whereas a lot of our players are technical players that want to get up the pitch, but they leave us exposed at the minute at the back. So maybe we could do with just settling into a bit more of a defensive formation, a bit more of a defensive tactical lineup for a few games, just to try and get a bit of that cohesion. Because right now we look bang out of sorts, don't we? So I think Brentford deserved to win. This is not by any means me whinging too much about them. I thought they played really well. I thought they definitely deserved to win. Liverpool still out of sorts, not looking like they want to win games, not looking like they should win games, and not looking like they're making the effort to even deserve maybe getting a point out of games at the minute. In reality, we look dead and buried at 3-1. Salah scored a worldie of a goal, but really it was out of absolutely nothing. Didn't look like we were really creating any clear chances at all. Not looking good up front, not looking good defensively, not looking solid in midfield, and not looking comfortable in goal either at the minute. Everything looking out of sorts, lots of work to do. Let's see how things go over the next few weeks. As always, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I do appreciate you, as always, checking out the channel. Please do drop a like and subscribe. Let me know down below in the comments what you think. Do you think Liverpool are finished? Do you think Slot's going to get sacked? I don't think he will. But it's interesting, isn't it, to see what people think. Amazing, after 4 losses in a row, all those fans from last season have turned on Slot pretty quickly. Let's see what happens next time. I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.